The race is on to build King Ka, the tallest, fastest roller coaster on Earth. Its top hat tower and dragster speed will push coaster riders to the next level. With just 1 year and $25 million, will engineers meet the mega challenge or derail and fail? It's a wild ride, now on MegaStructures. Six Flags Great Adventure Theme Park, Jackson, New Jersey. The front lines of the roller coaster wars. Here, a crack team of engineers hopes to shatter the world record and build the coaster that rules them all. But it will take a mountain of steel and technological wizardry to pull it off. This is about bragging rights. For all its thrills, the sheer awe of an amusement park's signature coaster is what really counts. It is these monuments of pure power and speed that draw the big crowds. If all goes according to plan, they will launch King Ka in 1 year. It's a tall order, at 45 stories high, accelerating from 0 to 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. This ride will be the closest you get to blasting off the deck of an aircraft carrier or corkscrewing out of a dive in an F-16.
So we've got to bring a crane in.
But are the designers behind King Ka pushing technology to the breaking point? The track record for this new breed of rocket coasters is littered with mechanical problems. Will it be safe? And is it worth the $25 million risk? In the hyper-competitive world of amusement parks, you bet it is.
When you tell the public that the tallest roller coaster is in your park, people who aren't interested in roller coasters or parks are going to take notice, and they're going to be curious, and they're going to want to go to the park to even just look at it, even if they don't ride it.
In the last decade, the roller coaster wars have ramped up. 200-foot mega coasters have been around for years. But in the spring of 2000, Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio threw down the gauntlet, breaking through the 300-foot height ceiling with Millennium Force, the first Giga coaster. For speed freaks, the breakthrough moment came in 1996 when Superman The Escape at Magic Mountain, California shattered the 100 miles per hour barrier. Up until 10 years ago, all roller coasters operated on a simple propulsion formula. A slow chain or cable lift pulls the train up the first hill, releases it, and gravity takes over. Rocket coasters, such as King Ka, have rewritten the laws of coaster physics. Forget that slow ride up the first hill. Rocket coasters are shot out of the starting gate like a fighter jet is catapulted off an aircraft carrier. The shuttle, or catch car, inside the track is locked into place like a coiled spring. The coaster is loaded onto it and cocked like the hammer of a gun. They pull the trigger, and boom, away you go. Simple? Not really. At least not at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. And not if you're the chief engineer, but we'll come back to that. In 2003, a new rocket coaster shocks the industry, taking launch technology to another level and shattering 2 world records. Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, Ohio, stands a gut-wrenching 420 feet high, making it the first strata coaster, accelerating to 120 miles an hour in about 4 seconds. It's the closest thing on wheels to a real top-fueled dragster. Enter King Ka, the monster ride destined to cut Top Thrill Dragster down to size. March 2004, the brain trust from Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey teams with Swiss manufacturer Intamin the builders of Top Thrill Dragster, and the concept for King Ka is unveiled.
It looks like it's all here.
Great.
Their idea: start with the blueprint of Top Thrill Dragster, but make the new coaster bigger, better, and faster. That's King Ka.
The amount of power for this ride is substantial.
The stakes are higher, much higher, and with untold risks. How far can they push the technology? Can it be done? Can it be built in time? The money people are adamant. To be worth the estimated $25 million investment, it has to be ready for the public to ride at the start of next season. Turning to one of the most sophisticated CAD design software programs around, the idea begins to take form. Every foot further and mile per hour quicker drives up the cost. Every change in the geometry of the track affects the stress on the passenger's body. The formulas for G-forces must be recalculated. The design goes through hundreds of minor variations.
We talked about different heights. How high did we want to go? We looked at the possibility of one with 2 hills on it in the back. And, we decided to stay with the single hill.
The final design is a 3,118-foot-long track, packing maximum thrills into the park's allocated space. Its centerpiece will be this soaring 456-foot tower, 4/5 as tall as the Washington Monument, breaking the old record by 36 feet. The designers can even experience the ride from the passenger's point of view. First, the launch, at 0 to 128 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. You are shot up the tower faster than you can say, "Get me off this thing."
Coming up to the top, we're going to slow you down real nice for that nice look around, and then next thing you know, you're going to be diving at the ground.
It's probably impossible to describe how this would feel to the average person who has never been in a jet fighter or maybe a motorcycle, but even that is no comparison. This will pin you in your seat. It's nothing like you've ever felt before.
King Ka goes into production under a veil of secrecy. If one of the other super parks were to find out about their plans and steal their thunder by launching an even taller, faster coaster, King Ka would be a huge waste of cash. In this business, second isn't an option. August 2004, an A-list of engineers converges on the east coast of the U.S., daring to build the Dream Coaster. As they begin digging the foundation, their deadline is set. April 23rd, 2005. They have less than a year, and the clock is ticking.
So far, so good.
If they fail, Six Flags will lose truckloads of money.
Because of the magnitude of the project, we had to get an earlier start than we typically do for other coasters.
One crew works on building the giant tower, while a second crew focuses on the smaller Camel Hump Hill, approximately 150 feet away. They take advantage of the mild fall weather to get as much of the coaster's track laid as possible. By November, the coaster is beginning to take shape. The plan is to work non-stop, 7 days a week, even during the winter months. But just when they're making progress, a torrential rainstorm shuts them down. Little do they realize that this is just the beginning. There is much worse yet to come. MegaStructures, Ultimate Roller Coaster, will return. Now back to MegaStructures, Ultimate Roller Coaster. It is now late November, and the brutal storm that shut down construction of the world's tallest, fastest roller coaster shows no signs of abating. The spring deadline for launching King Ka is in serious jeopardy. Every day of rain is like washing thousands of dollars down the drain. One crew is supposed to be working on the mammoth 456-foot tower that stands half done. The other team is trying to finish the 129-foot-high Camel Hump Hill. But work is at a complete standstill.
We've been pushing hard to complete the tower as early as possible so that we can avoid days like this for any of the high work. As you can see, there's nothing going on in the air. It's rainy and windy.
At these extreme heights, the danger from the heavy rain and winds is magnified. Moving around on slippery wet steel is inviting a fatal misstep. The delicate task of maneuvering heavy sections of track into place is out of the question. Down on the ground, the picture isn't any prettier. The rain has flooded the foundation of the hydraulic room that will house the coaster's launch system, the heart and soul of the ride. The crew works overtime pumping the water out. The clock is ticking, and it seems the hole just gets deeper and deeper. Finally, after a lengthy setback, the storm clouds clear. The crews will now have to work extra hours to try and recoup precious lost time.
Mother Nature's not been very kind to us. We've had problems. We've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of wind. Yesterday we had fog so bad we couldn't see the top of the tower from the bottom. The cold's not so bad, but the wind is killing us. We're behind where we want to be, but we're working hard to get caught up.
A few weeks later, it appears their frantic pace has paid off. The 3,118-foot-long track is taking shape. They're nearly halfway there. The team is about to achieve an important milestone. The topping off of the Camelback, the second highest point on the coaster. This 129-foot hill is designed to give riders a last burst of airtime, lifting them from their seats as they crest the Camelback and head for the finish. Its completion gives the crew a boost in morale, but they know they are a long way from the end. Looming in the background is a reminder of bigger challenges to come. The completion of the record-breaking 456-foot tower. If they are to have any hope of finishing the project on schedule, they need to top off this main tower by year's end. Time for a reality check. There are now only 20 shopping days till Christmas. When the crews break for the holidays, they have more than 100 feet to go. And with every foot higher, the task becomes more difficult.
Right now, with days like today, it's a bit in question, honestly. We're going to keep pushing hard to make that happen, give everyone an early Christmas present, but it's going to be tight, really tight.
Then, almost on cue, Mother Nature interferes. A wicked winter storm blows in. Temperatures plummet along with the crew's spirits. The wind chill is 15 below zero. The force of the winds is too strong, grounding the cranes. Once again, progress on the main tower is frozen. They have no option but to wait out the storm. Throughout December, work on the tower moves in fits and starts. The storm eases. They rush to the cranes and attempt to secure another piece of track in place. Then the winds pick up, and the vicious circle begins again. It's a frustrating, expensive process.
Anytime we have a hiccup or a slowdown in the field, it's an awful lot of money and time wasted.
As they inch their way up to the 400-foot mark, they are in hallowed roller coaster airspace. Only Top Thrill Dragster at 420 feet stands between them and the record. Engineering at this altitude is extreme. There is one silver lining. The unfinished structure is holding solid against the full force of the storms. Standing near the New Jersey coast, King Dakar has to be built to withstand hurricane force, over 100-mile-per-hour winds. For extra reinforcement, there are catwalks that serve as lateral braces in the arch of the tower. As the workers look down from their perch, at 397 feet, the magnitude of the project begins to sink in. In spite of the setbacks, they are now only one rung away from topping it off. Now, just 2 shopping days until Christmas, there is hope. They schedule the topping off of the tower for the last week of the year. Once that last piece is bolted into place, Kingda Ka will take the title of the tallest roller coaster in the world. But the New Year's celebration isn't to be. Another cold front moves in, and the crews are sent home for a bittersweet holiday. The only thing that is clear about Kingda Ka's schedule is that making their April deadline to launch the ride will be an uphill battle. And every inch of progress will be hard-earned.
We've been trying to get it topped out for a little while now, and weather has been pushing us back between wind and rain and fog. We've been having a rough go of it.
The topping off is postponed until the new year. When it finally happens, it will be the crowning moment in coaster history. If the final arching piece of track is even half an inch off on either side, the Top Hat Tower will have to be reconfigured. With the media and coaster fans watching, will this, the most important piece of the puzzle, be a perfect fit? The hopes of the engineers and the fate of Kingda Ka hang in the balance. Trouble rolls in. Will Mother Nature spoil the crowning moment for this super coaster? Now return to MegaStructures, Ultimate Roller Coaster. Engineers are working overtime trying to top off the soaring 456-foot record-breaking tower of Kingda Ka.
We're going to have to make the top first.
And capture the record of the tallest roller coaster on Earth. It's now mid-January 2005. A horrible streak of winter storms has delayed this critical event by nearly a month. Today, the engineers are determined to make it happen, no matter what the weather. The crowd gathers early in the morning. The media has been invited in force. Cameras and eyes are trained on the top of the structure to witness this historic moment when Kingda Ka is crowned the king of the coasters.
Sure, we'll be talking this loud so we can get over there.
Unfortunately, there's a new dilemma. Fog is looming all around the top of the tower. The crews can't believe their bad luck. The crane operator's vision must be clear for this delicate operation. Will the engineers have to send everyone home and reschedule yet again? They decide to go for it, hoping the fog will lift just long enough to fit the final piece in place. The crane team concentrates on what they call the pick, lifting the crowning piece of steel track. It must be hoisted at a precise angle and kept level. It's a long way up, and the placement must be perfect.
So when we set the top piece on, we may have to push those track pieces out just a little bit to allow us to fit in properly. It can go very quickly, or it may take up to upwards of an hour or two, depending on how difficult it is to fit the piece in.
Suddenly, as if on cue, the fog breaks, and there's a clear view of the top of the 45-story tower. Finally, it's time for liftoff. They make the pick. Everyone watches and waits. The fit must be exact. It's a game of inches.
Touching down. The Eagle has landed. It's done.
After all the weather setbacks and delays, the record-breaking tower is finally complete. It's an historic day for the engineers and entire crew at Six Flags.
They picked it quickly, they set it in, and they were able to make it up very, very quickly. Much faster than I thought. I actually thought it would take a lot longer.
But there's no time to celebrate. It's now only 3 months to opening day. the crews shift into overdrive to finish off the track and begin testing the coaster. But their good luck is short-lived. Their nemesis has returned with a vengeance. Another bitter storm blows in and dumps 2 feet of snow on the job site. Instead of firing up the cranes, workers fire up the snowplows, and another day goes to waste. Although the track work on the fastest coaster on Earth is going painfully slow, there is good news at the base of the main tower. Inside this hydraulics building, the parts for the launch system are arriving on schedule. It's like Christmas again for the mechanics, as they begin piecing together the components to the most powerful hydraulic launch system in roller coaster history. Building the highest coaster in the world is a huge feat. But the real challenge is breaking the speed record.
That's enough.
0 to 128 in 3.5 seconds is no joke. Unleashing this awesome power is a hydraulic launch system more massive than anything of its kind in the coaster world. 12,500 horsepower in a single blast, and more than 12 times the horsepower of a Formula One race car. The launch system is basically a high-tech catapult. Once it's assembled, here's how it works. At the starting gate, the train of roller coaster cars is loaded and locked onto this red shuttle called the catch car, which is pulled along the track on a cable. The hydraulics power the cable. When the operator pushes the launch button, the hydraulics spring into action, and there's no turning back. 5,000 gallons of hydraulic fluid is forced through a series of motors. The motors spin a giant drum. The drum rapidly winds the cable, pulling the coaster down the track and up to the top of the tower. The engineers like to think of the hydraulic system that powers the launch like a big squirt gun.
I like to think of it sort of like the world's biggest super soaker system. A super soaker works when you pump the handle and you put high pressure air into that little tank, and you pull the trigger and the air blasts the water out.
With a price tag of about $5 million, that's one expensive super soaker. After a few weeks of tinkering, the launch system morphs into a giant mechanical spider. Massive hoses sprawl out of the drum and motors, connecting to the hydraulic fluid reservoirs. It's slow going, but if they don't get every connection right the first time, they'll have to take it apart and start all over again. But they're still waiting for delivery of the most important component of the hydraulic system, the massive accumulator tanks. They are the heart of the ride, pumping hydraulic fluid through the motor to supercharge the coaster to record-breaking acceleration.
Accumulators are like the heart of the ride. It's kind of like the way a heart pushes the blood around through the body. The accumulator pushes the hydraulic fluid through the motor so you can get the launch up to speed.
Got it? That's good.
The mechanics are getting nervous. The tanks should have come 2 days ago, but the trucks are running behind schedule due to the heavy snowstorm. But on the third day, they're back in business. The trucks have arrived with the accumulator tanks. The hydraulics are about to get a serious power boost. But first, they have to get them inside. Each of the 4 accumulator tanks weighs a whopping 40,000 pounds and must be hoisted out of the trucks by a heavy-duty crane. One false move, one break in a connection could send the accumulators plummeting to a premature death that would strike a fatal blow to King Dakar. The accumulators take a year to make. There are no spares. It takes all day, but at last the accumulator tanks are in place. And the countdown to the most powerful roller coaster launch in history has begun.
I've never dealt with a hydraulic system like this.
It's a relatively new system they must quickly master to eke out every last drop of acceleration. They must ensure that every component of the launch system, the track and the cars, can handle the stress. Every part has a breaking point, a fact of engineering that might come back to haunt them when they least expect it. With the accumulators in place, they are poised to begin the next phase, the test launch of King Ka. It's one thing to build it, but will it work? Will the biggest, fastest roller coaster on Earth clear the final hurdle? Ultimate Roller Coaster will return on MegaStructures. Welcome back to MegaStructures Ultimate Roller Coaster. February 15th, 2005. Overcoming one of the most severe winters in the history of the eastern U.S., the crew building King Ka, the world's tallest, fastest roller coaster, has finally bolted the last piece of track into place. But the delays have come at a cost. They're over budget and weeks behind schedule. Opening day, April 23rd, is approaching fast.
At this point in the project, we're a little bit behind where I plan to be. We're working a second shift mechanical right now to try and get ourselves back on track.
The trains also need to get on track, literally. As the crane lifts each individual car into place and the crew guides the wheels onto the steel track, welders must flatten down part of the track so the base of the train can slip over it. Then every wheel has to be fine-tuned to glide perfectly along the rail. Next, they begin installing 473 magnetic brakes along the track. This is serious stuff. When you're dealing with speeds of 128 miles per hour, you need a fail-safe method of control. From top to bottom, every joint and cross tie has to be a perfect fit, so every inch of track must be inspected to make sure there is clearance on all sides for the train and passengers to pass through safely. The engineers are preparing to conduct a pull-through test, building a lightweight rig or fixture out of wood to duplicate the exact dimensions of a train car with passengers' arms fully extended. The tough part is they have to pull it around the entire track manually. Checking the clearance on the lower parts of the track is easy, but the 456-foot tower is an entirely different story. They must start at the top and work their way down 45 stories of steel, 1 foot at a time.
Just take us up, drop us off with our fixture.
Now move down, hold the low, move down.
The crane delivers engineers and the fixture to the top of the tower. They must tie themselves securely to the track and move carefully. They're 456 feet off the ground with no safety net.
That side goes up, there you go. Perfect.
One wrong move or misstep could be fatal.
Let's take a few moments here. Good? Okay, so it's running by itself now, right? Okay. Far so good.
A few minutes into the test, they run into trouble.
Well, how was the clearance?
We're about actually a half inch.
About a half an inch.
3/4 of an inch.
All right.
The plywood extension that simulates a rider's arm appears to be about an inch over the line at the top of the tower.
Yeah, we got about 2 inches.
In this business, an inch or two is huge. It could mean rebuilding this section of the track.
2 inches over the top of it. It's not over the side, though.
They remeasure on the spot. It turns out their plywood arm is a few inches longer than the required safety envelope. It's a false alarm, but the delay is costly. If they don't finish the test before dark, they'll have to start all over again tomorrow morning from the top down. Ten hours later, with the light fading fast, the engineers are back on solid ground. The track is all clear.
Every little test like this, or big test like this, is one step closer to opening it.
The rest of the team greenlights the computer and systems. Now it's time to launch the train.
So you'll see that train roll backwards just a little bit. And then they'll know it's there, and then it'll launch and go.
Engineers have been waiting for this day for more than a year. It's time to see if their hard work pays off.
There's always a little bit of apprehension until the first train gets all the way around the track to make sure there aren't any mechanical interferences.
They conduct the first launches at night, so they don't interrupt construction work around the launch area. They begin launching the train at slow speeds, easing their way up to 128 miles per hour. By 3 a.m., they're ready to try launching at full speed. It will be a huge victory if it makes it over the top on the first full-powered run.
Handler has to move the catch car back and forth to be in automatic position.
But there's a problem. At full power, the train does not clear the tower. They recalculate, adjust the launch settings, and try again and again, working through the night. With the sun beginning to rise, they think they've finally cracked it.
Yep, are we ready? All right, here we go. Get over there. I can't believe it got up that high. I didn't think it would. That's a tease there.
The engineers boost the hydraulic power, reset the computer, and load up the coaster for one last try. If it doesn't make it over the top this time, it could signal serious problems with the hydraulics system.
Okay, Michael, get it right this time. Stand clear. Oh, that looks nice.
The train triumphantly clears the tower, so the team moves to the next phase, launching a train full of test dummies.
Okay, is the plan to run the loaded one out and launch it too?
The plastic dummies are filled with water to simulate the weight of 18 passengers. The hydraulic launch system strained to propel the empty trains up and over the top of the tower. How will it do with a full train load? They boost the power surge. the train cascades backwards. They reset and try again. It's not looking good. The hydraulics seem to be okay, but there could be a problem with the catch car. They decide to sleep on it. The following day, they call in the specialist.
Hey, Joe, the catch car isn't coming back. I don't know if they've been in manual or whatever.
And a few hours later, they're ready to try again.
We're ready to launch. How about you, Jeff? I'm clear.
It's a last-ditch effort. If this doesn't work, the catch car will have to be replaced, and the whole season could be lost. Success. The train clears the top. After more than a year of planning and construction, the ride finally appears to be working smoothly. But the victory is short-lived. After repeated test launches, an inspection reveals that the launch cable is already wearing out. The engineers are forced to stop the test launches less than 2 weeks before opening day. After all this work to get it up and running, patience is now wearing thin.
If they don't get their green light, then we'll come down and figure out what's going on.
The public unveiling of King Dakar is pushed back by nearly a month. But that's the least of the crew's worries. If they don't figure out what's wrong, they may have to put the brakes on for good. The whole summer season is in jeopardy. All in a day's work, King Dakar's creators are its first passengers, and they're in for the ride of their lives. Ultimate roller coaster on MegaStructures. April 23rd, 2005. Today was scheduled to be the grand opening of King Dakar, but the world's tallest, fastest roller coaster is going nowhere fast. The engineers are still tinkering with the complex cable launch system that is supposed to catapult the roller coaster out of the gate at 128 miles per hour and up and over the 456-foot-high tower. Night after night, they fire off unmanned test launches to try and work the problem out.
We have some cable tension issues. We don't want that to happen on this. We got to keep a proper amount of tension on the cable.
They decide to replace the entire cable that catapults the train at record-breaking speeds up to the top of the tower. The next night, they fire up the most powerful hydraulic launch system of its kind and hope for the best. If they can work out the kinks, these same engineers who built King Dakar from the ground up will be the first to ride it. But until all the troubleshooting is complete, the only passengers they can risk are the water dummies.
No, the water dummies were fantastic, fantastic riders. They didn't talk back. They were a little quiet. We were looking for a little more response out of them, but no surprises from them.
The water dummy launches are going smoothly. The engineers move on to testing the coaster at full capacity, running multiple trains in succession and hoping the new cable doesn't start to slip.
We got to continue cycling it. We want to prove it out, get rid of any nuisance issues, we call it, so that it runs consistently when it's ready to open to the public.
We're testing all the different safety devices to make sure that everything that we need to monitor is being monitored and verifying that those are all working. Once we've done that and checked the system response, then we'll be ready to put people on it.
We're getting there. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
4 weeks and nearly 600 hours of test runs later, King Dakar is declared sound. It's a month late, but even so, a remarkable feat of engineering. 10 months after breaking ground, the king of all roller coasters is finally ready for its first real passengers, the engineers who built it. Even for the team who put it together piece by piece, being the first to ride King Dakar is a daunting prospect.
We've gone over everything twice, we verified it, and everything is good to go.
This ride might turn your hair gray. All right. Lap number 1.
After months of back-breaking deadlines and all-nighters, they're finally about to make history.
Yeah, we're gonna be down there, and then back here, and over there, like that. Yeah, number 1. All right! Baby! Woo! Look at that! Woo! That is it. That nails it.
The launch, 0 to 128, 3.5 seconds. Straight up the tower, 456 feet. The drop, 418 feet sheer vertical. 50 seconds. And 3 records bite the dust. The most exhilarating 50 seconds of your life. It's official. King Dakar takes the title of the biggest, fastest roller coaster on Earth.
It was worth waiting for.
A not quite a minute reward after nearly a year of hard labor.
Oh, outstanding. That is, the acceleration just keeps going and going. It just doesn't want to stop. And then straight up.
You try to talk and you can't talk. Just comes right back.
All right.
Best part is at the top when you come down that spiral, look at that twist right at the ground.
Look at the view. Hanging nice. The brakes work good. Spiral. Coming over there and you look at just this much track in front of you and you're still screaming along.
It's a momentous day for the engineers and in roller coaster history. It's been a long road to the top.
I thought this project was going to be quite a challenge, and it's been an enormous amount of hard work and reward. It certainly lived up to all the expectations I had for a challenging project.
Everybody, please count down with me to help launch the tallest and the fastest roller coaster on Earth, King Dakar.
King Dakar finally opens to the public just 1 week later. Coaster enthusiasts from around the world clamor to be the first to ride the record-breaking coaster.
Awesome, dude. Woo! Awesome!
But King Dakar's moment of glory is short-lived. A few weeks after the grand opening, the ride comes to a screeching halt. According to Six Flags, a bolt in the track sheared off during an unmanned test launch, ripping out a piece of plastic liner and damaging the brakes on the train. For almost 2 months, the entire area around King Dakar is sealed off. The trains sit idle, while rumors circulate about the demise of King Dakar. Will the greatest coaster on Earth bounce back? In early August, the announcement finally comes. King Dakar is ready. Engineers order and install larger custom-made bolts from the coaster's manufacturer to keep the liner that's inside the launch track from coming loose. This time, there is no grand opening, just a big sigh of relief. The team behind King Dakar has learned the tough truth. If you want to be the champ, you can expect to take some hard knocks on the way to the top. The question now is, how long will the reign of King Dakar last?
I'd be very excited for this to hold both records, tallest and fastest, for a long time, but there's always someone looking to break that, and we'll look to get it back if we're not able to keep it.
Just a few years ago, 100 miles per hour and 400 feet high seemed insane. With the rise of this megastructure, there is no doubt someone out there is already plotting to build the next super coaster. In the escalating coaster wars, there's no such thing as too high or too fast. But for now, King Dakar is the new King of the Hill.